I want to get you out the door with every result from every league in under 15 minutes, so that you're more informed about what's going on in the world of sports.
Hey TJ, what's going on? I'm Chandler and this is Tiger Beat Sports.
Hey everybody, I'm Chandler Sports and this is the Sport Report.
And I'm Chandler and this is Tiger Beat Sports. Welcome to a special edition of this all crazy sports newscast.
Broadcasting from somewhere in the United States.
Hit it, Blaze.
This is the Sport Report.
Memorial Day, Monday, May 27th, 2019.
Hey everybody, I'm Chandler with Sports, and this is the Sport Report. It's time to get you caught up on what's happening in the world of sports. This is Top of the Order.
In a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened.
This is Top of the Order.
Our top story comes from Indianapolis, where the 103rd running of the Indianapolis 500 occurred. Simon Pagenaud won the race, and if you said you've never seen a Frenchman win the Indianapolis 500, well, you're right and you're wrong. See, you're right in the aspect that Gilles Differin in 2003 and Gaston Chevrolet in 1920, they were born in France, but they were also listed under nationalities that weren't French. Pagenaud is the first Frenchman, the true Frenchman, to win the Indianapolis 500 since René Thomas in 1914. The guy he was battling for most of the races, he led for 116 of the 200 laps. Well, a guy by the name of Alexander Rossi, who was actually racing for Honda for Andretti Motorsport in this race. Rossi was reportedly going to take over for Pagenaud after the Indianapolis Grand Prix or after the Indianapolis 500, but he won't be doing that because Pagenaud won both the Grand Prix and the 500, meaning Pagenaud is staying at Team Penske, and team owner Penske said that he'll be staying at Team Penske. Rossi will continue to race for Andretti Motorsport for the time being. Finally, Pagenaud is the first Indianapolis 500 winner to win the race from the pole since Helio Castroneves did it in 2009. Transitioning to other subjects within the sports world, there are no NBA games on tonight, but we will have Braden Magnus on, our Sport Report NBA correspondent, on to discuss the NBA Finals between the Golden State Warriors and Toronto Raptors. That'll come later this week before the finals begin on Thursday, May 30th at 9 p.m. Eastern on ABC. There is one game on the NHL slate, and it's Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final between the Boston Bruins and the St. Louis Blues at the TD Garden, 8 p.m. Eastern on NBC. We finally found Sport Report NHL correspondent Jack Esper. Let's move on to preview the Stanley Cup Final.
No! You're not introing this. You left me in Canada, so I think I've earned this opening segment. The Stanley Cup Final. A rematch of the 1970 final.
Well, thanks for repeating what I've been saying for the past 5 days.
Please, let me finish.
Okay, please, continue.
So, as I was saying, the St. Louis Blues will take on the Boston Bruins in a series that very few saw coming. Let's begin in early January. The Blues had fired their head coach, benched their veteran netminder, and were heading in the wrong direction. Then, something clicked. New goaltender, rookie Jordan Binnington, began to play exceptionally well. They moved up in the standings and proved a lot. St. Louis made the playoffs by placing in the 3rd Central Division. They defeated Winnipeg in 6 games, and then had to leave Canada before the Mounties found me.
I would have paid to have seen a Mountie run you down and arrest you for staying too long in Canada.
Psh, please. They would have to catch me first. And also, you wouldn't even pay for me to have international cell service. Come on.
Alright, fair point. We did leave you in an igloo for the longest time, so please, continue.
Thanks. Then the Blues defeated the Dallas Stars in a Game 7 that went to double overtime. And boy oh boy, was that a thriller.
Yes it was.
Shh, I am telling the story, and I am freaking cold. Anyways, in the Western Conference Finals, they took down the team that got a lot of favorable calls, the San Jose Sharks. That took 6 games, but it may not have been that many had the refs seen the hand pass that led the Game 3 winner.
Okay, yes, that's true, but then St. Louis won 3 in a row to win the series.
I am not done, Chandler. Now they face off against the Bruins. No, not UCLA Bruins, not a Bear Bruins, the Boston Bruins.
The Bruins, the best team in the Eastern Conference.
I mean, that's why they are in the Stanley Cup Final. I mean, they did beat the Toronto Maple Leafs in 7 games, which, in a series that determined who had the better power play, #Bruins. After Toronto, they beat the Columbus Blue Jackets in 6 games before sweeping the Carolina Hurricanes. Pasternak. You and your accent. Anyway, him, Marchand, Chara, and Rask made this team stacked. They didn't have to face the Tampa Bay Lightning in the playoffs because the Lightning were swept in the first round as the best team in the NHL. Not a good luck for Stamkos and the company. Boston had an easier run than St. Louis in these playoffs. Anything can happen in the hunt for Lord Stanley's Cup. I would say back to with shorts in the studio, but I am in the studio. So with shorts, please, it's all yours.
Thanks, Jack. Hopefully we can turn the heat up here in the studio. Welcome back, brother. We truly missed you.
If you did not miss me, I'd end up as a freaking towel boy for the Montreal Expos.
It's good to have you back, brother. Now to Major League Baseball.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone!
And Carlton Fisk had a lot of little boy in him right there.
Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight and the Mets win it.
Touch 'em all, Joe.
Home run! Mike Piazza!
Jeter backhands from the outfield grass. Got it! Man, what a play!
Now from Major League Baseball.
There are 15 games on the Major League Baseball slate. We'll start in Toronto, where the Toronto Blue Jays defeated the San Diego Padres 10-1. Kayvon Biggio, son of legendary hitter and former Astros man Craig Biggio, collected his first hit and his first homer in the same game. Tampa Bay Rays 6, Cleveland Indians 3. Trevor Bauer falls to 4-4 with a 3.99 ERA for the Indians. The Indians pitching staff and the Indians as a whole are falling off the wagon, in a sense. They're 10 games behind Minnesota in the AL Central, and they are 500 on the season at 26-26. LA Dodgers 11, Pittsburgh Pirates 7. Justin Turner had a 5-hit game in this one as part of the Dodgers' 12 hits on the afternoon. The Dodgers win by 4, even though both the Dodgers and Pittsburgh Pirates each had 12 hits. Minnesota Twins 7, Chicago White Sox nothing. The White Sox were held to 5 hits on the afternoon as Jake Odorizzi improves to 7-2 with a 2.16 ERA for Minnesota. Milwaukee Brewers 9, Philadelphia Phillies 1. Brandon Woodruff, well, he struck out 10 players and scored 2 runs. Actually, to be more specific, he batted in 2 runs as he had 2 hits in 3 at-bats before being pulled in the game and replaced by Jesus Aguilar. In 10 innings, Kansas City Royals 8, New York Yankees 7. Whit Merrifield had a walk-off single to score Billy Hamilton as the Royals win the ballgame against the AL East leading New York Yankees. Arizona Diamondbacks 6, San Francisco Giants 2, LA Angels 7, Texas Rangers 6, Boston Red Sox 4, Houston Astros 1. Rafael Devers, well, he did a heck of a job yesterday. He hit a homer, he made some defensive plays, and the Red Sox steal 1 game out of Houston when they could have won all 3. They scored 4 runs, meaning each team in this series, of the 3 games in this series, each team won by scoring 4 runs. Pretty incredible. Cincinnati Reds 10, Chicago Cubs 2. Jose Quintana falls to 4-4 with a 3.73 ERA on the season, and Tanner Rourke is now 4-3 on the season with a 3.2 ERA for the Reds. Quintana for the Cubs. Washington Nationals 9, Miami Marlins 6, Oakland Athletics 7, Seattle Mariners 1. In 10 innings, Atlanta Braves 4, St. Louis Cardinals 3. The Braves trailed 3-0 entering the 9th inning, and here's a stat. Teams that are trailing by 3 runs or more in the 9th inning, entering the 9th inning that is, are 423-3 now. 2 of those 3 wins have come by the Atlanta Braves this season, including last night's game against the Cardinals. 4-3 in 10 innings for Atlanta. Colorado Rockies 8, Baltimore Orioles 7. The Rockies scored 2 in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Well, there was a run that was walked in to start that one. It was Ian Desmond who was walked. Nolan Arenado scored, and then Tony Wolters hit a sacrifice fly fly to left fielder Stevie Wilkerson. Jeff Hoffman scored, putting the game-winning run across the plate, meaning the Rockies have 2 walk-off wins against baseball's worst team in this series to take 2 out of 3 at home. Scott Oberg got his 2nd win of the series, 3rd win of the year. He's a reliever for the Rockies, but he has a 1.96 ERA. We have one more game to cover on the slate today. The Detroit Tigers lost yesterday to the New York Mets 4-3. They lost the day before 5-4. We said in the last episode, so not today's episode, yesterday's episode, that the Tigers had won the game in 13 innings 5-4. One of our most dedicated listeners listened to that and pointed that out and made sure to get in touch with us to ensure that we didn't make that mistake again. The Tigers lost 2 nights ago and they lost last night as well. The Tigers are now 19-31 on the season, while the Mets improved to 500 on the year. Finally, we have some sad news to report about in the sports world. Bart Starr, former quarterback of the Green Bay Packers who led them to their first 2 Super Bowls, has died at the age of 85, and it's a sad time for all Packers fans. Starr's number 15 was retired in 1971, and he was at Brett Favre's retirement ceremony for his number 4 in 2015. Bart Starr has been remembered as a kind, humble soul and someone who didn't take anything for granted. Bart Starr, sadly dead at the age of 85. Rest in peace, Mr. Starr.
That's the Sport Report
For Memorial Day, Monday, May 27th, 2019.
For now, I'm Chandler.
Thanks for tuning into the Sport Report today. We'll be back tomorrow with the latest in sports.
Do you want to contact Chandler Sports or members of the Sport Report team? Visit sportreportcws.com.
This podcast is copyrighted by the Sport Report for viewers to understand sports from a news reporting basis. Any other use of this podcast, Sport Report logos, or anything associated with this podcast without the express written consent of Chandler Sports is strictly prohibited.